Hi. Hi, group. Hi, I'm Stephanie. Actually, this is my first time coming live in this group. Sorry. Coming live in the group. You guys have seen Diana a lot more. And so I want to say hello. My name is Stephanie Emmenecker. I am talking today about stress and techniques of how to combat it. And I think that there's a couple levels of this. There's a billion different ideas out there. And so the idea today is just to kind of narrow it down a little bit for you so that you can just maybe have 3 or 4 things that work for you to help when you are in the heat of the moment. Because I really do feel like stress is a short term. You have a short term fixes, and then you have these long term fixes that really do take a little bit more reflection and learning about yourself and who you are and what bugs you or what doesn't bug you. And that's going to be super unique to each of us, and that's going to be more of a long term thing. So some of these are short term. I'll throw in a couple long term things in there just because I think that while we can do some things, it's really important to kind of find where those root causes are. So as you hop on, go ahead and say hi to me or whatever so that I know who's out there. And if you're on the replay, I'm really happy that you're here, and thanks for joining us in the Hassle-Free family. So I'm going to start with mindset. So I have these tools, tricks, and mindset. These are 3 different ways to address different types of stress in your life. And I'm going to start with mindset because I feel like it can be a really significant part of what is going on to make us stress, because most stress is really just worry. Okay, so when we worry about a situation or something that is happening or kind of coming up, the worry is what is causing the stress. If we weren't worried about it, we probably wouldn't be as stressed about it. Think about a bunch of people getting or loading onto an airplane. There are some people who are just in total chill out mode. They've got their earplugs in, they're working on other things, they're not even thinking about the flight. That's not a stressful situation for them. Where there are some people who just are having a complete panic attack, just the thought of getting on an airplane. Same situation, same exact thing, 2 different people handling the situation very differently. They have different baggage in their head about what it means to get onto an airplane. And that's just one example. This can be what to make for dinner. It can be, are we taking care of our kids properly? Is it, maybe you're really caught up in what you're wearing for the day, or whether you, whatever you choose to strain about, those things when they pop up in your head, in your circumstances. So I really want you to try and tailor it around that. So mindset, and actually before I get to mindset, I'm going to say there's one little thing, and I call it HALT. I actually learned this from my husband. HALT stands for hungry, angry, lonely, or tired. Okay, so if you are any of those things, hungry, angry, lonely, or tired, halt, stop making decisions, and you need to just stop what's going on and reconnect with what's important. Just remembering those 4 things, those 4 triggers, they're really significant triggers for a lot of people. There's other things that might trigger you, but being hungry, angry, lonely, or tired exasperates everything. And this is most easily seen in a toddler, which sounds silly because even as adults, we sometimes revert back to these, I just don't feel happy or comfortable, so therefore I'm going to take it out on the rest of the people around me. So remember the HALT tool, even though I jumped ahead to tools. Sorry. I'm going to be all over the place because that's just sometimes the way that I am. And I'm not going to stress about it either. So how about that? So mindset. One of the biggest things, and you'll see this all over the place, is having gratitude. So having just a consistent thoughts of gratitude and what you are happy for in your life. So things that are going on, things that have happened to you, for you, what you can be surrounded with, and really focusing in on the moments of gratitude versus allowing our mind to kind of spiral down into the moments of stress or what makes us angry or what just really ticked you off last week. Focusing on the negative things will without doubt bring you more into worry, more into stress. So shifting away from that is a way just for a little mental mindset reset. Okay. There's a couple questions that you can ask yourself when you are feeling that those strain, the overwhelmed, the angry, whatever it might, however it might boil up in you. When you feel those things start to build, there's some questions that you can ask yourself. One of them is why? Why is this worrying me? What I personally like to do is I like to really try and just remove all emotion and just look at it logically. And sometimes that's harder, but with practice, it gets easier. So if you remove the emotion and you say, why is this bugging me? Why is this stressing me out? What about this scenario is worrying me and causing me to fret over it, and therefore causing stress and strain in this growing way through my family. So just confronting it head on, and then just really listening to what you have to say about it, acknowledging yourself, saying, okay, well, that's a little illogical, or, oh, hey, there's some truth to that. There's something that, maybe I should be worried about it, is it a safety concern, or am I just worrying for the sake of being a worrier? Okay, and being able to remove some of the emotion from it takes away some of the heightened emotion, obviously. Okay, whatever. You know what I'm saying. The other thing, which is just a mindset thing, is will this matter 5 years from now? Okay, will it matter? Will it matter 5 minutes from now? Will it matter 5 days from now? Whatever that might be, is this thing going to matter? I used to really stress about, when my kids were younger, about what they would wear. It sounds silly now that I think about it, now that they're a little bit older. But we would, have a struggle of, no, you can't wear the full Spider-Man costume and mask to the grocery store. And then after a little bit, I was like, is this really going to matter? Does anyone really care? Why am I stressing over this? When I stress over it, or when I put a lot of emphasis on it, he's actually bucking me back even more. And I'll tell you, when I stopped fighting him on then we started actually working together on it. And I let him do it. And I said, I would give him options, right? So I just changed it by stopping thinking that it was that important. Okay. And that is, there's probably people who are light years ahead of me on that one, but it was just one example of something that we can something maybe trivial that we're stressing over, or we're worrying about, that really doesn't really matter, right? In the long-term part of it, it just doesn't matter. The last question here, and this is just a mindset thing, is what would blank do? So if you look up to somebody, or if you think that someone just kind of gives off the impression of having their stuff together, you might be like, oh, what would Jesus do? What would my husband do in this situation? What would Diana do if she were in this situation? Sometimes just putting that off and saying, okay, this person would react in this way, and I kind of want to emulate that a little bit, and they seem to have a cool head about them and not be super worried about things. And you just find a new perspective on your situation by taking yourself out of it, taking your current head baggage out of it, and being like, okay, so how would this person react if they were in this situation? Just to help to bring yourself off the edge. Okay. So these are more like short-term questions just to kind of knock you out of the negative mindset, the negative like downward spiral. A longer term, you're going to ask questions of yourself like more along the lines of, really, why does this bother me so much? Is this something that consistently stresses me out? What are some techniques or some things that I could do to change so that this is not such a worry to me? Those types of questions are going to be more long-term, really analyzing things that are causing chronic stress in your life. Maybe it's your job. Maybe you are really stressed out at your job and you need to figure out some tools and techniques so that this isn't a constant strain. And is your job the root cause of that? Is it really money? Are you stressing about the money because of the job, because of losing the job or whatever? The chain reaction. Work your way back, figure out what your root cause is, and then decide, is this worth worrying over? What is my worrying accomplishing? Because it's usually accomplishing nothing. And what are some action steps that I can take so that this isn't such a chronic worry in my life? Okay. The next one we're going to do is some tools. Diana mentioned it yesterday. She likes to dance with her family in the living room, which is kind of like, whoo, like everyone, like, let's break it up and let's think about something different. That one's an excellent one. I love music. There is something about letting loose to a song, a favorite song. Maybe you have a song in your head that just reminds you of being carefree, good times. Maybe it makes you laugh. Maybe it just makes you smile. Sometimes just allowing yourself to laugh, to smile, to dance through stressful situations. It's a really, really strong tool. When my kids were younger, I would use music in the car to chill them out when they would start arguing or fighting or doing whatever they were doing in the back. You know, they're in their harness seats and they're all like cooped up and uncomfortable, and they would start like chirping and that would cause a lot of stress. You know, I'm trying to focus on the road. I would turn on music and it ended up being kind of a little trigger for them to relax, to chill out. We'd all be doing something together and it would make it a lot more enjoyable and therefore a lot less stressful with the multitasking part of it. You saw me earlier, I use oils. Essential oils can be really powerful for switching over emotions from negative mindset over to a more positive one. They can help to calm you. They work right in conjunction with the limbic portion of your brain. So like your thought and your emotion and your feeling processing. So there's a lot of oils that I use. I even have a diffuser because I was like a little bit nervous about hopping on today just because I do lives, but not that much. And it's my first time in this group, my first time talking on this topic. So there's oils, there's things like CBD products that are coming out on the market. It's just another product that you could use to help kind of take you down, to release, kind of remind yourself what's important, what's not important, and help to release some of the negative emotions along with that. Those are just a couple tools. And then last one is tricks. At the beginning, I talked about halt, hangry is a thing. Hungry, angry, lonely, or tired. Just figuring out where a trigger might be that would trigger worry or trigger stress, and then helping to remove those sorts of things. So thinking about it logically again. This one I really like. Actually, I like this one for my son. When he gets really worked up about things, there's two things I have him do. The first thing is I have him make a list of the things that are bugging him. So he'll get in his head that he's just got like a lot of work to do, and he'll get like really just overloaded in his brain and stressed out. So he's 13, he's in middle school, he's got homework, he's got music, he's got some sports. It's like a juggle thing, right? And he'll just all of a sudden just feel very overwhelmed. So I have him make a list. If the list doesn't help, we break away. And this is more at bedtime, but I have him do what I call square breathing. So it's breathing in for 4 counts, holding for 4 counts, exhaling for 4 counts, holding for 4 counts, and then repeating. So it is a very slow, systematic breathing pattern that you do let's say 4 times. Okay. So breathing in, holding, breathing out, holding, breathing in, holding, breathing out, holding. This sort of breath pattern, one, it makes you just focus on what you're doing and what you're breathing. It helps to slow down your heart rate. It helps you for clearer thinking because you're getting the proper oxygen to your brain. There's a lot of things that it does, and I challenge you just to try it. Like, if that works for you, then great. Then you got a new tool in your toolbox to use. You can literally do it anywhere. You can do it in the car. You can do it at the grocery store. You can do it, and no one's going to think you look weird either. Because I think that there are some things that if we start to just feel a little bit overwhelmed, being able to just soften the face, taking those big, deep breaths in, it goes a long way. The other thing, which is actually, this is softening your face. So somebody had taught me this one. She was just a great, what did she do? I can't remember her specialty, but she worked with young kids who had disabilities or just struggles and that sort of thing. And she would get overwhelmed sometimes. And she said to me, and I will always remember this because I use it with my kids, when you try and soften your face and you relax your face, it is very hard to hold tension anywhere else in your body. And when you hold tension in your body, you come across as being more aggressive or more strained, okay? So when you soften your face, even if you are in the moment upset, it's harder to stay upset. And it's harder to let your emotions get out of control when you are staying soft in your face and soft in your body. So try it. Try it. If you are stressed out and you are worked up, sometimes just focusing inward on what your body is doing and the tension that you're holding, it takes your mind off of that other topic or that other thing for long enough to allow yourself to release some of the stress and therefore release some of the tension that you're sharing with everybody else around you. Taking a media fast. Sometimes we just get too many inputs, too many opinions, too many comparisons. All of these things can cause unneeded stress, unneeded worry in our lives, and sometimes just shutting it all off. Reading a book, taking a bath, even though I am not a bath taker, but I am a hot tub taker. We have a hot tub. And you can't use a phone when you're in the hot tub. So we'll go out there, and it is just a very easy conversation, or you can be out there and quiet. It's also relaxing, and the warmth is soothing. It just is a moment to recollect your thoughts. And if a bathtub does that for you, then that's awesome. You can use the oils or Epsom salts in the bathtub also, which help with that. All right, so these were just a few things, both short-term and long-term stress suggestions. If you guys have some yourself, this is not all-inclusive by any stretch of the imagination. I mean, exercise, all of the things. There's a lot of things that you can do to help with it, but the trick, and I want to really stress this, is to just find what works for you. We can also stress about finding ways to reduce stress. Okay, so if something works for you and you know that it helps to just take you down a level so that you can think more logically about what is happening and less with your feelings, do that. Just do that. You don't have to worry about all of the other things that you could possibly be doing or that might work better. If you have one thing that works well enough for you, do that. But it might take a little bit of playing around to find that thing. So, all right, everybody have a very stress-free Wednesday, Thursday. Yeah, get my days right. I am clearly not stressed. My kids are off of school. They are off for a 5-day weekend, actually. We are going to be traveling. I have to pack, and there's some other things we're going to be doing, but I just wish you all a really great week, and I hope that you are enjoying the information that you're gathering from this, and we will continue to throw cool stuff your way and good ideas. Again, any comments below, I appreciate it, and take care. Have a great week.